What's up? I'm the Rap Nerd, and this is the discussion on the Grammy Award winners of 2020. So, in the part one of the video, we discussed solely about the rap category and we discussed about the various awards and what my particular opinion of them was. Now, let's move on to the other categories, starting off with the best alternative album. This particular category that I was really hyped up about because there were more than few albums that I genuinely enjoyed when this were actually nominated for the Grammy. Like you take Tame Impala, Slow Rush, for example. This was an album that I genuinely bumped for like almost entirety of 2020, and then even Beck took a very electro-inspired route in his album Hyperspace. Lastly, Phoebe Bridgers' album was also very good, and I felt that it is going to be a genuine contender for this award. However, the award went to Fiona Apple's Fetch the Bolt Cutters, and I mean, this was an album that actually grew up on me much, much later. Like, I had to give more than a few listens to, get used to this album. Like, Fiona Apple's take on very, quirky, very offbeat type of album. Like, her take on the music was something that I was initially very confused about. But then, upon several listens, I got used to it and then I actually started admiring this. Overall, I still feel that it was a very highly contested albums, like this highly contested category with albums that almost each one of them presented their own perks. And lastly, also have to give credit to Tame Impala. Being a huge Tame Impala fan, I would have been very happy to see them winning this Grammy. But I mean, Fiona Apple was way too good a contender to like let this go. Next up, we got the best progressive R&B album, and like this was an album that again stirred a lot of controversy. Like if you were active on social media, you will know that Weekend was like before the nominations was announced. Weekend was a very big contender after that brilliant After Hours album, but then as it turned out, he was not even nominated for it. Subsequent backlash from Weekend happened, and then the whole social media circle was like very quick to criticize Grammys for it, and rightly so. Like like had Weekend here been here in this particular category, it would not have been even close for it. Like even for album of the year, I think like the kind of quality that we can put on After Hours, there was not much competition here. But again, we do what we have to consider and move on with what we have right now. And I mean, this category, since Weekend was not here, again got pretty close. Like Thundercat, it is what it is. Amazing album, really enjoyed it. Janae Aiko's Chilombo was here, which was again a very pretty good album. Chloe and Halle were here for as God intended, which I personally felt like Chloe and Halle were really done dirty in this particular Grammys because as their album, I felt it was outstanding, and perhaps in my eyes, even though I love the Thundercats album, I would have rather seen them winning this because the way they meshed the traditional R&B with this modern take to give out a very sensual, very intoxicating mix of an album that was as God intended. So amazing album, and I mean, they have all the reasons to feel bad about it. In fact, Robert Glasper was nominated for F Your Feelings. I mean, Grammy compensated for Robert Glasper here because Robert Glasper eventually won the Grammy for Best R&B Song. I mean, his album was pretty good. Lastly, even Free National's self-titled album was here. So overall, like since Weekend was not nominated for this one, the entire dynamics of this whole category changed. And again, it's a very good first and second call for me because like Chloe and Halle's album was, for me, it should have been the front runner, but then like Thundercats album also has a very good progressive vibe to it. So again, I'm not mad at for them picking this, but maybe I would have seen things differently. Moving on, the best R&B performance. I mean, if I were to sum up this in just one sentence, like it's very hard to beat Beyonce here. Like, let's keep it honest. You don't beat Beyonce in this particular category, especially with these kind of nominations. Moving on, we got the best new artist with Megan Thee Stallion winning this, and was it even close? Let's face it, was it even going to be close? Because like the kind of meteoric rise Megan Thee Stallion had over the couple of years, like her transition from her Tina Snow mixtape back in 2018, I guess, to where she is right now with with Beyonce collaborations, featuring with Cardi B, her songs literally like all over the social media, putting out summer anthems. Megan Thee Stallion, it's not going to be easy to beat Megan Thee Stallion. Let's face it. But again, like there were a couple of questionable choices for me as well. Like, like for example, Kate Renata's nomination for this one. Like it really baffles me to see Kate Renata being nominated here because, like, for someone who has already been in this industry and putting out albums for such a long duration, it doesn't make sense to see Kate Renata being nominated now. Like, maybe then, like, Grammy missed the train for this one. Like, shouldn't they have done this like a couple of years back? But thankfully, they didn't mess this one up by awarding him this one. I mean, maybe they would have, I don't know. But yeah, Megan Thee Stallion was way too good to beat this one. I got is the song of the year. I Can't Breathe by Her won this, and again, a very close fight for me, in my eyes, that is. Because I Can't Breathe by Her is a brilliant song in my eyes. Like, the way it addresses the racial injustice in United States of America, it is a very good song, and especially in the second verse when she starts doing this, a spoken word kind of thing, where, she's kind of rapping, but again, like, singing in a spoken form, or like, IMTV Unplugged of sorts. So, beautiful song in itself. But, I mean, again, going back to the point that maybe Roddy Ricch had a good shout as well, because for someone whose song almost dominated the entirety of 2019 and a good half of 2020, seeing him getting snubbed is again a bit harsh. But then, I personally understand the Grammy's perspective too, because there is one song that is addressing the racial injustice too, and there are a couple of entries that did that, and Grammy kind of played it safe by again highlighting them, which, mind you, it's a very good move in my eyes. It's a good move to address to recognize these kind of songs that address the social injustice. Next up we got is the album of the year. Personally, I'm really happy to see Taylor Swift winning this for Folklore. Again, I'm like, let me put this out first. I'm not a big Taylor Swift fan. I'm not a Taylor Swift stan as such. But then, when I gave it a very sincere listen, I've realized that it's a very good album, and happy to see her winning it. But like, you again looking at the other nominations, there were a couple of very good entries as well, like Jhené Aiko's Chilomo. Once again, I'll mention it. It's a very good album. Black Puma's album was amazing, which again, this is something I would really recommend to you all, because it's a very good psychedelic funk inspired band from Texas who had a very good year. I mean, this is a band I would definitely say that keep an eye on. Dua Lipa was also there, which I felt that maybe she could have had a chance for winning it, because Future Nostalgia, a very good album. Like, it has a very different vibe to it. Like, it kind of stands out on its own compared to the other entries in this category. It has a very nostalgia driven retro throwback type of concept that the whole album is built on. And for me, and especially the kind of success the songs like Levitating had, I felt that it was a very good contender too. But I mean, it's fine. I mean, Grammy more than compensated for it by giving Dua Lipa the pop album of the year, which is okay. Like, now that we think of it, it's a fairly diplomatic move from Grammy's end too. And maybe pop album of the year also serves her good, because like, it kind of feeds to that pop aesthetic too. So, fair choice in my opinion. Last is the record of the year. Everything I Wanted by Billie Eilish. I mean, winning this. Like, I don't know how to feel about this. Colors by Black Puma was an outstanding track. Like I mentioned a few minutes back, Black Pumas is a very good band that people should be paying more attention to. And Colors is a very good song that you can start doing it. Like, I mean, I'd highly recommend that. But I mean, seeing how Grammy works, where they have to balance this star power with musical credibility as well. They picked the former, and Billie Eilish won it. It's not a very strong category in my eyes. Like, I don't see a very standout winner here. Like, it has been in other categories, like, let's say Best New Artist, for example. There is a standout tracks here as such, so it's almost anyone's for the taking. So if Billie Eilish won this one, so be it. Like, that's how it is. Because like, there are not many songs that you can pick from. So yeah, that's all from me. If you watched it so far, thank you so much. Do give the part 1 another listen too. I'm the Rap Nerd. Thank you for, do consider subscribing if you made it so far. Thank you for watching. Keep listening to music. Peace.